A few seconds after my husband met me, he had said I looked familiar. And I remember I thought, one of those guys. It turned out that he really had seen me before then. Welcome to I Know How This Story Ends podcast. I'm your host, Tio Adetoye, a fashion business entrepreneur, author, speaker, and most recently a widow and single mom. I was in an audit team back then in Abuja, a service member, the most junior. My manager received a call from her colleague and hands me the phone. Picture this: a conference room at the client site, a team of 5 people. You are the most junior, and you receive a phone call through someone else's phone. She handed me the phone. I went, hello. He says, hi, this is Adesha Adetoye. Who? We met at the lobby of PwC a few days ago. I introduced myself. I said you looked familiar. In my head, I'm like, oh yeah, Mister, you look familiar. How may I help you today? And then he goes, I remember where I saw you. It was at an accounting studying institution back in Lagos. You came into the staff room. You're looking for Femi. And I just thought to myself, who is this lady? And I thought, okay, so he wasn't lying. But still, in Lagos a few months ago, and you remember? Anyway, again, how may I help you today? And then he goes, I have walked through this ACCA journey and I actually made a perfect score in one of the exams. I was wondering if you needed my books and all that. I said, oh, okay, thanks for offering. I will get in touch somehow, maybe share my email with you. Again, all eyes were on me in the boardroom, in the conference room, wondering what conversation could this colleague of mine be having with this youth corps member. Well, the call ended and I felt all the eyes on me and I tried to move past that. A few weeks later, the result of the exam I wrote came out. ACCA, that's the name of the accounting examination board. And for some reason, it was difficult for me to log in to my account to see my scores. I remember I went to pick up the ACCA textbooks. Back then, it was Kaplan and BBP, if I remember correctly, from Adesho's hotel at the lobby. And he had said goodbye, and I was on my way out. I again tried one last time to check my results because I was anxious. I finally logged in. I passed the financial accounting, but I failed the management accounting. I hadn't walked out of the hotel entirely. I was still at like the entrance. So I walked back and went into the bathroom and I looked at my scores. Now, ACCA, you either pass or fail. There was no in between. It was a 51% for you to pass. 49 and below was a fail. I was in that bathroom stall for, I would say, 20, 30 minutes crying. I couldn't believe I failed an exam. Well, I mean, I was at the hotel lobby in the bathroom stall. I had to go home at some point. But Adesho called me. I didn't pick. Then he sent a text to say, hey, just checking that you go home safely. I didn't reply. A couple of minutes later, he calls again. I didn't pick. And then he sends a message. I'm a little worried. Please Let me know if you're home safely. So at that point, I replied him, I'm not home. And then he calls and says, and then this time around I pick. And he asked, where am I? I said, I'm downstairs in the lobby. He says, okay, he's coming. Now, picture this, a full grown woman crying over an exam result, and another full grown man was about to come and see her with red, bloodshot eyes, looking horrible. We were not dating, there was nothing romantic. It was just a colleague who gave me his ACCA texts. Anyway, I thought, why did I tell him I was still here? Why didn't I just say, oh yeah, I went somewhere, come up with some story? But he came, and I came out of the bathroom and I went to see him. I wasn't sure the reaction to expect, but he went, oh, I'm sorry. Have you never failed an exam before? And then I shook my head. No. He said, huh. Throughout your university, no receipts, nothing? No. Huh. I honestly wasn't even sure why I was having that conversation with him, but he felt non judgmental and safe. After a while, he asked if he could give me a hug, if it would make me feel better. And that was strange for me, that somebody asked if they could give me a hug to make me feel better. I looked at him, I said, why do you want to make me feel better? He said, I don't know, I don't like I don't like the way you feel. I wish I could trade places with you right now. And then he goes on to say, I mean, okay, let's think about what we can do when you take the exam again. I'm happy to tutor you and all that. And I'm like, why would you want to tutor me? So, I mean, I did get a perfect score, you know, and which ended in having a scholarship from ACCA. But that made me smile, and I said, now you're just blowing your own trumpet. And he was like, no, Chatope, it's not bragging if it's true. Anyway, yes, eventually I retook the paper and I passed that paper. But my ACCA journey is a whole nother story. But being vulnerable is an area that I have never been good at. Early on, being friends with my late husband, I knew I could be vulnerable with him. And sometimes I wonder, will I ever have the opportunity to be vulnerable without judgment or fear and feeling safe? A lot of times, God just reminds me that I can bring my vulnerability to Him, my lamentations. One of my favorite verses, Matthew 11:28, says, come to me, all ye who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's what I do now. My happy times, my low moments, my highs and lows, I take it all to God. Lately, I was also reminded of Psalm 13. David started out with a lot of lamentations. How long, O God, would you forget me? How long would you hide your face from me? But he ends the chapter with, I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. God has really dealt bountifully with me. Tiwatope Akwotere Aditoye. And I hope you see God dealing bountifully with you as well. Depending on where you are in your grieving journey, if you feel who can you take your lamentations to or your vulnerability to, God can handle it. This is not where this story ends. But thank you for tuning in today. My website, tiwaadetoye.com/podcast, is a great place to stay connected with me. And please share this episode with anyone, and I mean anyone, who needs a reminder about God's love for us. Until next time, friends, Tiwa is rooting for you.